Hello again and welcome back to our product roundup series. This time we're back to plugins with products from two different but equally well established brands, United Plugins and DJ Swivel. Let's get started. Front Door is United Plugins' cleverly named answer to anyone looking to recreate the sound of vintage analog mixing desks in a realistic manner without having to sacrifice money or space on a real console. Opening the plugin reveals just a few parameters, the combination of which produces a surprisingly powerful analog emulation unit. The input gain dial, high pass filter and output fader are all fairly self-explanatory. The magic behind the plugin primarily resides in the use of the mojo dial, essentially acting as a saturation intensity parameter. Higher mojo values will result in an increase of the presence of harmonics in your signal, the character of which can be altered via the buttons found above. BR will mimic the sonic traits of classic British consoles, while US and GE will imitate that of American and German units respectively. The effect itself is noticeably more subtle than other saturation plugins, however this is by design. Front Door is intended to be used as the first plugin in your chain for every track. An over-aggressive saturation module on each track could quickly clutter your mix. Furthermore, existing inside the flexibility of the digital realm enables fully custom, case-specific effects channels to be built, with Front Door serving the critical job of processing and saturating the initial input. Finally, one of the most intriguing features of Front Door is its use of an innovative digital processing technique known as VARM. VARM helps to create a convincing illusion of true analog character by generating slightly random variations in Front Door's response in a manner that imitates similar variations seen in real consoles. This ensures that each of your tracks processes a totally unique sound. Utilising multiple compressors in series is a great way of enhancing the dynamics of your sound, being notably useful on vocals. Employing subtle amounts of compression across multiple units helps to distribute the workload, making for an overall more natural sound. Additionally, multiple different types of compressors can be used, allowing for a more flexible dynamic shaping experience. FirePresser is designed to pack this functionality into a single, intuitive, yet feature-complete solution that will have you loading it up on everything from drums to vocals. Each corner of the central grid represents the processing of a single type of compressor, while the white dot indicates the distribution of processing. FirePresser features emulations of iconic hardware compression units seen in the 1176, DBX160 and VariMu components, along with modern classics such as the Empirical Labs Distressor. The signal flow can be altered by dragging and dropping the corresponding coloured boxes seen below into the desired order. Then, the intensity and harmonics can be controlled using the turbo and saturator controls seen below.
They say that life's got a plan, but I don't think it has. It's got it in for me, like you won't believe. And if I'm the bad guy, I'll own the blood on my hands, and that's fine by me, if it's what you need.
Finally, the bottom right hand corner houses the detector controls, which can be used to define the influence of stereo link compression, along with the attack and release. Low pass and high pass dials are also included for bypassing lower or upper frequency ranges. Creating a noteworthy compressor plugin is becoming more and more difficult as offerings are becoming increasingly abundant. FirePresser offers an extremely unique and, more importantly, really practical solution that I'm surprised to have not seen before. Quickbass's dubious sounding tagline of the perfect bass sound as fast as possible is one that I am delighted to report as surprisingly valid. Acting as a convenient multi-effects plugin geared specifically towards bass guitar processing, every module included in Quickbass plays a critical role in improving your sound. Firstly, you'll notice a simplified compression unit featuring a compression intensity dial, compression blend type, and release dial. Situated beside this is a pair of saturation-related parameters used for enhancing a signal's harmonic content and hence compatibility across a greater number of playback devices. Contained at the centre of the plugin is a tone-shaping EQ component. The foundations of an effective, context-specific sound can be constructed instantly using the appropriate preset button. Refining the sound is made trivial via the supplementary dials. The final two parameters augment your signal in a slightly more atypical, artificial manner that can help set your bass sound apart from others. The sub-bass knob will control the magnitude of lower thickening frequencies, while the doubler can help widen your sound by introducing a secondary synthetic voice. Although use of this effect should be done in moderation as to avoid cluttering your low end. Overall, Quickbass offers an impressive and efficient all-in-one bass refining option that will get you to a track-ready result far quicker than ever before. FireMaster is a final step enhancement plugin that prides itself on its deceptively simple interface. Achieving a more professional sounding track is as simple as inserting the plugin onto your master track before adjusting the 5 main parameters to taste. Both bass and air are used for shaping the tonal balance of your master and are ideal for adding final thickness and clarity. The strikingly unique depth parameter will accentuate spatial qualities of your song while retaining mono compatibility. A little goes a long way with this effect, with more extreme settings perhaps requiring the use of a bass monoizer utility to refocus the low end. The colour dial works in tandem with the depth, bringing prominence and definition to desired frequency ranges. Finally, the dry-wet control permits for the original signal to be mixed with the process signal for a less intense effect. In conclusion, FireMaster presents itself as a valuable secret weapon mastering tool that could provide the difference between a good sounding master and a great sounding radio ready master. Plugins endorsed by professionals are becoming increasingly prevalent nowadays, with world-class producers, mixing engineers and artists attaching their names to a vast range of products, making it difficult to know which to trust. With this in mind, the Source competently stands apart from its competition. Branding itself as a creative tool for dramatic vocal processing, the Source offers multiple powerful modules for transforming your input. Firstly, your sound can be uniquely characterized using the flavor module, which allows for changes in both pitch and formant. With harsh tuning paired with pitch and formant changes being notably popular in modern hip-hop music, the inclusion of this module was a great decision. It's also worth noting that the pitch shifting algorithm used in the Source is developed by the accomplished engineers at Z-Plane, who are well renowned for their organic sounding processing techniques. Below this, the light-hearted yet appropriately named spice and sugar parameters are housed. Spice can be used to introduce either subtle harmonic saturation or more aggressive overdrive distortion, while sugar can be used inventively for chorus or flanger effects. Next are the squeeze and smoke controls. As you'd assume, squeeze offers parallel compression options, dab is used for gentle compression, while pump is a more extreme creative effect. Smoke is a convolution reverb unit with 3 impulse response options, a small room, medium plate and large hall. The penultimate fundamental module is the drip unit, acting essentially as a delay component. This is no primitive delay unit to be overlooked, however. With a ping-pong effect toggle, alongside high pass and low pass, the drip module proves itself to be more than capable of some satisfyingly distinctive sounds. Finally, housed prominently at the centre of the plugin is the spread parameter. Ideal for giving space to mono signals or simply for enhancing the stereo width of stereo signals, the spread value is great at separating your backing vocals from your lead and hence giving prominence to the centre. Much like the previously showcased depth parameter in FireMaster, spread will also retain mono compatibility.
I don't need anyone, no, no, I won't sleep anymore. I'll wait around, oh, I'll wait around, I'll just sit here vacant on the ground. Oh, I'll just wait around, I'll wait around. I don't need anyone, no, no, I won't sleep anymore. I'll wait around, oh, I'll wait around, I'll just sit here vacant on the ground.
The Source is a convenient yet flexible one-stop shop for not only vocals, but for pretty much any musical element. With the addition of independent multiband processing options, standout sounds are never more than a few seconds away. Being DJ Swivel's latest and perhaps most ambitious offering yet, Big Distortion Engine, or BDE for short, is the most customizable and widely applicable distortion plugin I have ever worked with. BDE supplies everything that more basic distortion plugins offer, along with some no-brainer first-of-its-kind features that once you've tried, you won't be able to live without. The plugin focuses around a large central dial, used to define the drive of the distortion process. Accompanying controls surround the central dial, appearing as either sliders or dials. When first placing BDE onto your track, you'll want to make use of the auto gain function, which will automatically set your input gain to be at the optimal level for the distortion algorithm, meaning as soon as you engage the drive dial, you'll start hearing the effect. The specific type of distortion to be used can be altered via the drop-down box at the top, with the name of each depicting the intensity of its sound. Just below the drive control is a mid-side ratio control, allowing for independent manipulation of the centre and side channels, great for adding texture and grit to vocals while maintaining clarity at the centre. The 3 sliders housed below all help to shape the character of the effect. The first alters the affected frequency range, the next works much like a tilt EQ, permitting for tonal accentuations, and the last defines standard low and high pass filters. Found on the outer edge of the interface are parameters for dry-wet, a compression module, signal chain, downsampling, and a bit crusher. Finally, the aspect that I find to be the most innovative are the range and speed options. These values will cause the degree of distortion to alter proportionally with the dynamics of your input. Where other distortion plugins will affect the entire signal equally and hence compress your sound, BDE ensures that the dynamic range of your input is preserved along with the perceived level of distortion. This means that for applications such as drums, the bounciness and rhythm can be retained while the added thickness of distortion is present equally over the entire signal. The great abundance of distortion plugins not only on the market, but also most likely your plugins folder, makes trying another seem somewhat worthless. But with BDE supplying so much more than competing products, DJ Swivel makes this the only distortion plugin you'll ever need. Here I've put together a short hip-hop inspired track that utilises all of the showcase products. Front Door is placed at the appropriate signal entry point for each track, FirePresser has been placed onto the guitar and drum tracks, Quick Bass is of course being used for the bass guitar, and FireMaster has been placed onto the master bus. As for the DJ Swivel products, the source is being used on the guitar for its chorus effect, and on the trumpets to widen their top end with the spread feature. Big Distortion Engine is applied to the drum track to add a little extra thickness. Let's take a listen. Thanks for watching. As always, the link to each plugin's product page can be found in the description.